function in the 8th Meghalaya Legislative Assembly. He was also the youngest Finance Minister of Meghalaya. Sir, we welcome you to today's program.
Thank you, sir.
Shri D.D. Lapang, Honorable former CM of Meghalaya, Shri Lakman Rambui, Honorable Education Minister of Meghalaya, Shri M. Hawk Saab, Chancellor of USTM and Chairman of ERDF, all the dignitaries represent on the dais, all the parents, proud parents I should say, who are present here today, all the principals of different schools, our PCCF, my dear friend Dr. Kaji, and most importantly, all the toppers of the SSLC, MBOSE. Friends, I don't want to take much time because I think we are here really to recognize you than to really listen to our long speeches. But at the very outset, I would take this opportunity to thank Mr. Hawk for taking this initiative, for organizing this really great and encouraging program, I should say. And by him doing this, I think we can all clearly see that here is a man who is really passionate about what he does and really passionate about seeing that education all over the region, and especially in our state of Meghalaya, reaches new heights. I have been to USTM a couple of times. I've seen the kind of work that they're doing. And as Hawkji was mentioning, that we were actually quite a part of the entire process in 2008. And it gives us also a little bit, maybe 0.5% satisfaction. You get more 100%, but we were just a bit of it, part of it, to see from that point to where it has come today. And I must congratulate not just Hawksab, but I think his entire team that has been behind him, who has made such a great impact in education, and I think many more things to come. Hawksab was mentioning about research, in the field of education and universities. And I was telling him just before this meeting that we had, this program, I was telling him that, here in our state and in our region, we hardly have any kind of real collaboration and research going on. If you go to any other developed nations and really nations which are really working hard and economically moving forward, you will see the involvement of universities and research institutes to the highest level. What happens in our state? Well, if you have to study the impact of GST on the state of Meghalaya, then you will be having Conrad Sangma doing the study, and he will do the analysis also, and he will give the speech also. And Conrad Sangma doesn't know anything about GST. All the officers and the bureaucrats will be the ones who are, of course, very qualified, but not really specialists in GST. And they will be the ones who will be making the report and analyzing the impact of GST on our state and our region. Whereas there are experts and professors who do this morning to night. And that's all they do. And we won't even ask them even once. The impact of climate change on our region. We make the policy at our level with some consultation. But I think it is areas like these that really institutes like USTM and other institutes must play a bigger role. Because the experts are there. You have the research you have the knowledge. If once that analysis is given to us, officials can sit down and go through all the aspects of it. And once the reports and analysis is done, we can sit down and then take a very knowledgeable and proper informative decision. And I think that is very key to proper policy making for any state or any government. And it makes me quite embarrassed in one way to say that it has not been happening. But really we are trying to change things out here, and we hope that we will be able to move forward in that line. So I was talking to some of the faculty members of USTM, and I was asking them, so what is the areas that you're doing research in? Have you tied up with other universities, colleges? What is your plan, program? So many things we discussed, and then later on I heard about an entrepreneurship program that they're running. So they're opening up an entrepreneurship, or they already have, which is funded by, to some extent, by Government of India. And they're going to put up Entrepreneurship Research Center. Precisely what Government of Meghalaya also is really, really keen to do. We have started an institute of Meghalaya Institute of Entrepreneurship. And we are very firm believers, I am a very firm believer, that if the nation and if our state of Meghalaya has to move forward, it has to be through entrepreneurship. The government cannot develop. The government can make the policies, the government can create the infrastructure, the government can provide the necessary direction, but it has to be the entrepreneurship and the different organizations that have to move forward. The young people have to move forward if this country has to, and the state has to move forward. So entrepreneurship is key to development of our region. And I know that some of you out here, the brightest minds, I should say, of our state are here today. And I'm sure that some of you also will get going to entrepreneurship, and I hope you do. Yes, you might want to do your studies in different things. Maybe somebody wants to do environmental, somebody wants to do astronomy, some in genetics, whatever you want to do. But I think the element of entrepreneurship is very key to economy changing. And I hope that tomorrow, in the coming days, some of you will become bright entrepreneurs of our state. And I think this is where collaborations can happen. So I hope that this entrepreneurship program can move forward. We would be very happy also to be part of it. Mr. Hawksab also was mentioning about the civil service, and yes, it's very true. I want to talk about Garo Hills, and I want to tell you that it is quite surprising and shocking to tell you that there is not a single Garo IS officer as we speak. Not a single. And in the history of the Garo tribe, there's only been 2 from the Garo Hills. And overall as a state also, we are very far behind compared to other states. So definitely there is a need for it. In fact, we have been trying to promote this. When I was Member of Parliament, I still am, but when I was only a Member of Parliament, I used my MP Land Fund, and we opened up an institute for IAS coaching through VSAT, because we felt that a lot of students have to go very far. So there is this VSAT programs now through which civil service training takes place. So it was a dream of my late father, Mr. Sangma also, that there should be a proper training institute. So we felt that technology is there. So we have started that institute. As I said, it's on VSAT, but you listen to and you get training from the best faculty through the VSAT. So that institute has been opened up there. There's a similar one that was opened here by the MP from Shillong. So in fact, from our government side, we are planning to at least fund a large number of students in the programs out here. We used to send them outside before, but we feel we can fund more students by using these facilities out here, and the number of students we select can be more. So these are areas which are important to us. We are going to move forward in the civil service program also. So I think I'm glad to hear that even USTM is thinking the similar lines. And I'll tell you, I appreciate it, because when I hear the kind of passionate things that Mr. Hawk talks about, I can relate to it. And me being a person who really is committed to what I'm doing, when I hear him say things like this, I can sense the commitment that he also has in what he's doing. Having said that, I think it's important for us as a government to also tell you that we are almost on the verge of creating our education policy after 46 years of statehood. We didn't have an education policy. And of course, at one point the draft was done, but it was nowhere close to completion. But we are now ready to complete it. I think Honorable Education Minister has been working very, very hard on this. They have had hundreds of meetings in regards to this. There was a task force that was set up, and it's done a lot of work, and I'm told the draft has come out beautifully. And really, we feel that the education system in our state has been suffering a lot. And there has not been the kind of attention that education requires. Basic structures, excuse me, basic structures from the grassroots level, from pre-primary sections, how the students should be brought up, what kind of values should be put, what discipline should be put, the character building. A lot of things are missing in our, in our education system. Because ultimately the point being that what is at the end of the day? I mean, as a father and as a person, a citizen of the state, and as a chief minister here, ultimately I would want good, responsible citizens to come out, after you are educated. Because if you're not a good, responsible, and committed citizen, then no matter how much qualification you have, it might be all used for the wrong things. So therefore, I think a good human being, a good, responsible human being, by creating the right values, is very important in education, and we really feel that we need to create that kind of a system. In Japan, with their education system they have, in the first 2-3 years of their education system, they don't teach anything. They don't teach A, B, C, D. I mean, of course, they have the Japanese thing, but they don't teach any subject. They only teach values. They only teach character building. They teach discipline. That is how they build up the character of the person. And when the character is built up, then they go into what people call knowledge and education. But they stress so much on building up a good citizen, a responsible citizen. I'm not saying that we're going to follow that exactly, but I really appreciate the way the Japanese system is, whether it's their lifestyle, or whether it's their commitment, their responsibility, the education system. And I really study a lot of what Japan does, because I'm really impressed with how they work, including this 3 R's. I started this 3 R's. It was copied from Japan, by the way. They have this system of 3 R's, which is reduce what you use. That means switch off the lights if you don't need them. Reduce, so reduce in every way. Reuse, which is that, well, if you can reuse it. For example, a bag. So instead of carrying a plastic, you carry a bag which can be reused. And third is recycle. So this is the concept of the Japanese people, and I have adopted it in our state also. But that's how they are. So anyway, coming back to education, I think that's what's important, to create the right mindset, to create the right character. And I think our education policy, I hope, I have not seen the draft yet, will be focusing on that aspect also. Our education requires a lot of changes. It's too complicated. There are too many categories. There are different problems we face. Teachers are not getting the kind of importance they require. We have too many schools. It's quite amazing to tell you that we in Meghalaya, our population is about 33 lakhs, which is something like the state of Manipur. And Manipur has about close to 5,000 schools, but that is institutes, 5,000 institutes. But Meghalaya has 13,000. 14,000. So Meghalaya has 3 times more the number of institutes than compared to a state like Manipur, which is very much comparable to us. Just to give you an idea of how the restructuring of the education system needs to be done, it is quite a task. And I must congratulate our education minister. He has been working very hard. But it requires a lot. Why I'm telling you all this is to tell you that our government is really concerned about the education system. We are really worried also in one way. There are a lot of challenges we face, but we are up to the task. We are working. We may not be able to resolve everything in one go, but yes, we have a plan, and we might be able to take things in a phase-wise manner and take one step at a time. But ultimately, we know where we want to get to, and that is what education policy will lead us to. But having said that, coming to the positive things, is to really see as I said, most probably the greatest minds of our state sitting in this room right here. So I'm really proud of each one of you, and I think you have done your parents proud, you have done the state very proud, and I think everybody does hope and expects that you will do a lot more in the coming years. And I do wish each one of you the very, very best for the future. But I want to tell you that this is just the beginning. And, you know, it's just going to get tougher. Life is going to get tougher from here. And you should not be satisfied or happy with the fact that you have come, you know, in the top. But as I said, you should just get more motivated and be ready for the bigger challenges that are going to come in life. You will face failures in life, let me tell you also. We all fail. I tell people all the time that I have contested 4 times in my election in my life. And I have failed twice, including the first election I contested. But I tell everybody that it is from the elections that I failed that I learned the most in my life. And it teaches you a lot, you see. And you must always remember, because you will fail in life once in a while. But that is not failure. It's just one step to take you to a better height. It just makes you better. You learn from it. Failure is only when you give up. So never give up. Suppose something is going on and things go bad. If I had not contested again the second time, then I would have failed. But then I contested again, so I succeeded at that point at least. So failure is really a mindset. You should keep moving forward. I'm telling you this because life is like that. You will face challenges, but always remember that just get up again and just keep walking. That's how it is. And you learn a lot. Always learn from your failures. It's very, very, very important in life. I don't know what you will be, areas you'll be doing. Of course, you have a long way to go. I do take this opportunity to once again wish all of you. And the last point which I want to say, which is also very important, is always remember your roots. Where you've come from, who you are, something you should never forget. A lot of times, you know, we tend to forget our roots, our parents, our families, where we are, what we're supposed to do, basics in life. So don't ever forget the basics in life. And that's also another suggestion which I want to give you, another, you may say, a message from my side. And always depend on your family and depend on God. I think you will face tough times in life, but I'm sure that, you know, all of you, whichever religion you're from, should always have faith and always pray and always rely on God in good times and bad times both. So I think these few things, if you remember in life, I'm not a pastor or a reverend, but this is what I always give a message to young children, especially when I meet. Another last message, I'm sorry I just keep saying last, because I really enjoy talking to young children, is that this whole issue of, you know, climate and all these things, you know. I think I'm trying to do my best to leave something for you guys also. You know, I'm scared that the way the things are moving right now in the economy, but that is globally, you know, that things might be very difficult when it comes to your times. Last 10-15 years, the average temperature of Shillong has gone up by 1.2 degrees. And we are worried that it's going to go up even more. And in this 1.2 degrees, the temperature which has gone up has impacted in terms of the different kind of diseases that have come up, whether it's human or for the crops. A lot of research needs to be done for that also, by the way. That will be something very interesting. And it's changed the pattern of rain, it's changed the pattern of the climate. It's really happening, and we are worried about it. And I think young generation has a lot of things you can do, you know. So just as an individual, I would urge that you should start doing small things that will add to the change or the environment, to protect it, and to conserve it, to protect and to, you know, maintain the climate. You know, I keep telling people, I've started a few programs and I want you to be part of this program. See, I keep telling the young generation that we all breathe oxygen. See, but none of us can tell which tree gives us the oxygen. And it's quite funny and quite amazing actually. So if you can start adopting a tree which tells you that this tree is my oxygen, and you protect it, that is one small way of ensuring that you contribute to yourself. For nobody else, it's for you. Just take care of this tree because this tree gives you your oxygen. You know. And this triple R which I keep telling people, reuse, recycle and reduce. I think this is a practical thing which not just the children but even the parents must start doing. We are going for very aggressive ban against plastic use. Our rivers are choked and I'm really worried about them also. My office has started, no plastic in my office now. We're going for the whole secretariat. Then we're going to go for all the government offices. Because obviously if you stop plastic, means no plastic bottles, then you'll have to get the filter and all this is in place. So these things we're doing, and I want the young generation to keep in mind that this planet will be yours. You must also do your part now only, by telling us also what we should do. Because it's going to be your responsibility also. And no matter what we do, if the environment changes and if the climate change is there, it's going to be quite difficult in the future for all of you. So I think this is a very, of course, a negative and a very depressing message I'm giving you, but it's a concern for each and every one of us. But again, coming to the happy moment, which is now, which is this moment where we and the USTM is recognizing you for your success. It's temporary success, I always say. There are many more things to come. I think is the most important part. As I said, your parents, we all, the entire state is proud of you. I, on behalf of the entire state, as Chief Minister, would like to congratulate each and every one of you. I'd like to wish each and every one of you the very best for the future. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless USTM and Mr. Hoxha. And may God bless our beautiful state of Meghalaya and our country of India. With these few words, thank you very much. Publishipun, Mathela,